afternoon. My name is Amalia Deligiannis, and I'm the editor of Plumbing Engineer magazine. And I'd like to welcome you to another episode of PHCPPros Live. We are here today at the ASPE Convention and Expo, which is taking place at the Indiana Convention Center. My guest this afternoon is Tony DeDionisio, and he is the regional sales engineer at American Gas and Safety. How are you today?
I'm good. Thank you for asking. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Why don't you tell me a little bit about your role at AGS?
Yeah, so I'll start by just telling you a little bit about myself.
Okay.
So, I started out in engineering. I started out as an engineer, I was a mechanical engineer, and when I came to American Gas Safety, I started to take my technical side of it and apply it to sales as well. So as you guys know, everybody knows about the industry. Mm-hmm. You have our reps. We have reps, a network of reps throughout the country that sell and get our products in front of engineers. So my job is to support all of those reps, support them in sales, support them going in and actually seeing our customers and anything technical on the background. So I'm just looking after our reps, helping them out, helping any of the engineers out whenever it comes to anything technical on our products. It's something that we really pride ourselves on at AGS is helping out engineers designing technical products into their system. So that's just kind of a little bit about my role.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. And talk to us a little bit about American Gas Safety. I mean, if people have not heard of your company before, what would you like them to know?
So I guess I'll just do the whole, I'll get, just introduce us as we are as a whole. So American Gas Safety is an electronics controls manufacturer.
Okay.
We're based out of Tampa, Florida. So American Gas Safety is also part of a larger national brand. So we brought our technology into Canada. We're in Australia as Oceania Gas Safety, and then we have a large operation in England as well as S&S Northern in the UK.
Okay.
So like I said, we're an electronics and controls manufacturer, but we have a specialization in gas safety.
Okay.
And that means gas detection, so your regular boiler room gases, carbon monoxide, combustible gas, but also utility control. So your actual physical gas that's going into your buildings. For instance, in school labs, one of the things that we're most known for is our science lab utility controller. So we're giving science teachers key authority control in their science labs over the gas. So in a K through 12 environment, you can imagine for a teacher, the name of the game is authority control. When they have a bunch of students in their classrooms, they want to be able to control things, especially those harmful gases, combustible gases, but not only just the gases, they want to control the rest of the utilities, the electrical outlets, the water, to make sure people aren't playing with them when they're not supposed to. So that's one of the things that we're doing for science teachers, but in addition to that, we're also doing safety features for gas. So that's automatic shutdown, panic button inputs, so actual emergency panic button inputs, connectivity to fire alarms. So if you actually have a fire inside of that building, we're going to automatically shut the gas off. Now, if you put yourself into the shoes of a teacher or any kind of facility worker in the event of a fire, and you have gas on in that building, the first thing that they're trying to think about is getting out of the building or getting their students out of the building. So often they forget to turn the gas off, and both in an emergency situation, but also just even at the end of the day while leaving the classroom. So we're doing timeout functions, fire alarm connectivity. This type of gas safety is something that is, I'm not going to say relatively new, but it's not a code-required product. It's not a code-required thing to have.
Okay.
You would actually be surprised at the lack of gas safety that is in national codes, where in, let's say, for instance, science classrooms and in commercial kitchens, all they have to do is have a manual ball valve in there. So the emergency shutoff is a manual ball valve. You can locate it anywhere inside that room. And so a lot of the times when we do these kind of systems, gas safety systems, we're giving the end user something that they actually want, not just require. So we're actually getting requests on these kind of systems. And then with that, we are doing gas detection as well. But I'll turn it over to you.
Okay, so it's like, I guess it's like, are you guys having a great show? I know this is the first day. What is your primary focus at the show today? What are you, besides this, safety system, what are you most excited about?
Well, as for the show in general, we're really excited just to be here at ASPE. ASPE, we've been a supporter of ASPE since 2011, and we're a large supporter of them. We're members locally. We always try to do these shows, and the event like this gives us an opportunity to actually connect with our engineering community and our rep community that we don't often get to see. And not often do we get to have, so we have 30 reps, over 30 rep firms across the country. Not often do we get all those rep firms in one location that we can meet all of them. And so that's one of the things that we're doing. and then actually being able to see our engineering community that is designing these systems, putting it in their buildings is a huge advantage, and then providing education. So this is our biggest booth yet that we've done, and we did large demo boards, so simulation boards, so we can actually bring the engineers in and let them touch it and feel it. So ASPE, as we know, is all about education, and that's what we try to do as well. So we're trying to educate when they come by how these systems work, what kind of technology exists in the gas safety world.
Okay, so you talked about this system, and what about the Mini Merlin? Can you talk to me a little bit about the Mini Merlin?
Yeah, so one of the things that we're most excited to talk about, and we've been talking about everybody that comes by our booth, is a carbon monoxide interlock.
Okay.
So CO interlock is really gaining popularity, and it's actually been code required in Texas, Florida, and Georgia now within the last 2 years.
Okay.
So it's starting to spread. What they're requiring is that inside of your boiler rooms, you have a carbon monoxide detector that actually interlocks with your boiler.
Okay.
So if you get a carbon monoxide leak in that space, the detector will automatically shut the boiler off. And the reason why they're doing it is because, one, it just makes sense, right? It makes sense that if you have a leak, you should have a device in there that automatically shuts it off. Right now, the only code requirement nationally, what's done in most boiler rooms, is nothing but a simple panic button, a manual emergency shut-off switch.
Right.
And so what that means is a human being actually has to be in there, recognize it. They have to either hear the alarm or smell a gas leak, and then they physically shut it off. But what happens if somebody's not there? And these are also human beings that we're talking about, and we all make mistakes. We like to think that we're perfect, but we're not. And so what we're trying to do is get devices in there that can automatically do this kind of thing for us. And it's feasible. That's the other reason why they're doing it and making it code required, is this unit is only a few $100s.
Right.
And all you really have to do is you put this in, you mount it on the wall, and then you wire it directly into your boiler safety circuit. And so as soon as this goes off, it communicates to that boiler immediately just to shut off. And there's no additional devices necessary. So you're talking about a true $400 device to get this kind of interlock.
So how does it, once you wire it into place and connect it to the boiler, how does it detect the leak? Like what is it picking up on to?
So actually, it's funny you ask this. So any gas detection manufacturer, we all use this kind of the same thing, where it's a gas sensor inside of it. So the sensor, actually, what it does, I mean, in a summary, there's a natural reaction that'll occur between the water vapor in the air and the methane, and it will create an electrical current within our sensors, and we can actually pick up the electrical current to detect for that gas. So the electrical current, you can translate it into different parts per millions. And then that's how we actually sense the gas. And then internally, we take that ppm level and then we use it to control different devices. So there's actual relays, outputs in here to control devices. And everything is built into this unit. Okay. So this is basically a large gas detection panel condensed down into a standalone gas detector.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And are there any other applications for these types of interlocks? Interlocks?
So the first other application is what we're trying to do is get it to spread to the other states.
Okay.
So in Florida, for example, when they first came out with the carbon monoxide code, there was a local boiler inspector that was shutting down around 4 to 6 boilers every single month because they had high carbon monoxide content in their boiler rooms. And these are commercial spaces that have sleeping quarters in them, so hotels, lodging areas that had sustained 50 part per million carbon monoxide levels in them. And so we're trying to introduce this into other boiler rooms, simply for that. The other place that it has a lot of application we've gone in is commercial kitchens. So in commercial kitchens, you're using gas burning appliances with permanent pilots. So they always have the pilots lit, and that way they can come in, start the grills. Anywhere else in the world, in a lot of different countries, permanent pilots have been outlawed, but they still remain supreme here in the United States. And one of the biggest risk factors to a permanent pilot is it can get blown out, and then you get a gas leak in there because there's no flame failure device. And so if you get a gas leak and nobody's around to actually recognize it, there's nothing stopping that gas from filling that room and blowing up that kitchen. And so we've actually gotten requests from restaurant owners to put this in there and not only just detect for the gas, but like I said, automatically shut it down. So we can tie it into a gas solenoid valve, and then as soon as we detect combustible gas, we will automatically shut off that valve, and then they'll never, it just gives them peace of mind after hours when they're not there.
Okay. And has the pandemic that have been easing out of, has that impacted where your product is where you've been using this application, this product?
So we do a lot of different. So the pandemic really,
What
as far as-
changes, I guess, yeah.
So it kind of changed really our whole outlook on what products we're looking at to develop. So we've actually developed new products separate from our mini Merlins, separate from our utility controller, such as our
Okay,
timed
so
gas.
that's perfect.
So timed gas control. We've seen a big increase for outdoor amenity areas during the pandemic where people can hang out outside, enjoy time safely during the pandemic. And so what we found with that is an increase in fire features, gas grills, and so we're giving people more control over these appliances because they want more control now that they're putting in more features, and they want things such as timed gas control. And there's actually been local codes, such as Oregon now is put in a local code where they require timed gas control at fire features, not just for the safety aspect of it, but also for they don't want gas getting wasted if people leave the utilities on. We don't want the gas to just continue to spew out, so this will automatically time out for that specific reason.
Okay, so that's great. So this is used strictly for residential applications, or are in some commercial settings as well?
Actually, believe it or not, it's mostly commercial.
Oh, wow,
It's
okay.
we probably do 99% commercial with this, and this is your high-end hotels where you have big outdoor patio areas, and we can give them time control at every single location.
Good.
And then we could also give them a central location where they can have something like a key controller over their entire patio that feeds the power to their individual timers. And so, just across the board, really, what we're trying to do is just introduce more gas safety devices to the market, because there really is not a lot of gas safety. There's a lot of codes that lag, and so we're trying to really.
And why do you think there has been such a slow uptick on gas safety codes and standards?
It's tough to say, and I really don't have the answer for that, honestly. I think a lot of people look at it. I think there's a lot of local inspectors that look at it. I just believe that there's a long process to getting national codes put into play. I think you need to see some interest locally, like what we're seeing in Florida, Texas, and Georgia with the carbon monoxide. And once enough people recognize it, then they might implement it into something more of a national code. But like I said, I don't have the answers. I'm not on a code council. I don't know, but we're just trying to give the engineers what they want.
All right.
Yeah.
So what can our engineers and our viewers overall expect from AGS this year?
So one of the biggest things that we like to do with our products is do off-the-shelf solutions. And when I was talking about our gas detection range, such as carbon monoxide interlocks, where it's code required, you have one product, you put it in there, you wire it to your devices, and it just works. It's plug and play. Where our larger gas detection panels, you have regular applications, refrigerant, standard applications. We want to give people products that they can just put in there, wire them up, and it just works for what they want. There's no custom, there's no complicated setup, there's no programming on it. So what we're going to try to do is take that sort of application and that sort of concept and just take it into different markets, take it into the refrigerant detection market, get people off-the-shelf solutions for that. And then we're also looking more into indoor air quality. Now, I'm not sure if you're familiar, but there's a lot of talk nowadays about indoor air quality. The pandemic also forced us to take a different look on how we view indoor air quality. And so we're coming out with sensors that can measure all of your pollutants, not just CO2 now, but also temperature, humidity, particulate matter, VOCs, put all of those things together and then ventilate your building based on it, and then give you an air quality grade to a central monitoring system or locally within that space. So these are just kind of the things that we're working on in the background that
that sounds really interesting. When do you expect to push out like the first version of this IAQ?
So we have an IAQ ready now, right? And so we're just kind of doing the fine details. So we went through the development process. We looked at all the individual codes that are being required for indoor air quality, and we put all those things together to actually give you that grade, right? So a lot of the software is developed and we have the product. Now we're just fine tuning it on the installation and what end users really want. So we're really going to go out and start to talk to customers. So we're probably talking in a few months, or 3 or 4 months, we'll probably have something like this out for the market.
Oh, I'll look out for that.
Yeah.
That news. Is there anything that you'd like to add today? Did I miss anything?
I think I covered it. It's hard. Like American Gas Safety and all the different products we do. We do everything utility control and everything gas detection. We can make things as simple as you want, as complicated as you want.
Right.
It's tough to put everything in a 15-minute interview.
Right.
But every time we do something like this, we just try to spread awareness for gas safety and environments.
So for the people who are here today at the ASPE Expo, what's your booth number? Where can they come visit you for some more information?
Yeah, booth number 740. Come on by. You can win an Oculus. We're giving an Oculus away.
Oh,
so,
cool.
Yeah.
And then if you are not here with us today, where can they find out more about AGS?
Our website, AmericanGasSafety.com, great resource to go to for products, and then you can get all of our contact information from our website as well.
Well, wonderful. Well, thank you so much for your time this afternoon.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Take care.